Okay, so welcome to this session in digital photography. My name is Gustav, and we are going to spend some very valuable time today to learn how to use your existing resources. So, how would you like, I prepared this presentation actually for the existing agents here in the market center. And my question to them was, how would you like to double your sales in 5 easy steps? And I mean, it's so important, to double your sales, but if you are new, get out of the blocks from the start. There are basically 45,000 registered agents at the moment in South Africa. And if you don't stand out from the crowd, the other person is going to take the money and do the sale. So on the agenda today, we are going to cover 5 points, and I want you to make notes of this. It's important to write it down and make some notes as we go along. So the first thing will be having the right tools. I think you'll agree with me that you cannot build a house if you do not have the tools. You have to have a troffel, and you have to have a waterpas, and you have to have the tools. If you want to service a car, you cannot just have a screwdriver and think you're going to service a BMW. It's not going to work. Now, the same applies for being a professional property practitioner. You need the right tools. Otherwise, you cannot do your job. Once you have the tools, we're going to have a look at your settings. I've spent a lot of time with the agents on their cameras. They've got no clue how the camera works because today's smartphones are quite sophisticated. So I'm going to show you the correct settings, tweak a little bit, and your photos will come out perfect. We're going to talk about framing and composition, very important, marketing. Once you've done your pictures and it's beautiful, how do we get it onto social media? What do you need to do for that in order to get inquiries? And we're going to talk about editing if we have some time. So where does the word photography come from? It is a Latin word that is phos and graphine. If you combine that, it means paint with light. So I want you to make a note of that. Photography is all about light. If your pictures are dark, it's a problem. So this is extremely important to understand that photography actually means you are painting with light. Just remember that. So I like this one. Are you a professional? Hiring a real estate agent is a lot like hiring a photographer. If you've got a pro, that is what a pro can do for you in terms of your pictures. If you're a do-it-yourself, DIY, you won't get the same effect. So a lot of the sellers or the desperate housewives that tries to be estate agents, they fall in this category. They try, but they do more harm than good. We are professionals, and I'm going to show you today how to, take excellent pictures and make the money. So let's look at step number 1. Do you have the correct tools? Okay, so what you need is a good digital camera. And I brought my camera along, this Nikon. It's about a 35,000 Rand camera, and the flash gun is an additional 15,000 Rand. Now, this is a Samsung S20 smartphone. Which one of these do you think is the better, can take better pictures? This one? Put up your hand if you think this one is the better one. Who thinks this one is better? This one is better. So the point I'm trying to make is, you do not need to go out now and buy yourself 100,000 Rands worth of equipment. If you've got a decent smartphone, and I'm talking about Samsung, I'm not a big iPhone fan, and I'll show you why a little bit later. And also not your A series or one of the others. Buy the S, Sierra, the S series, S20, S21, S22. You will not make a mistake. I'll show you what this camera can do. It is really amazing. Your editing software, I use Office 365. It's got a default program by the name of Photos. So you just open the photo and it's got a lot of functionality where you can improve your picture 1000%. You need a decent computer, laptop. I've seen a lot of agents here. I think that computer that they have is older than I am, and it's not going to work. You need the tools. You need a decent laptop, software, camera, if you want to do this. And I also sent out on the group the other day, Canva is photo editing software. It is very easy to use. It's for free. And I saw on command, the moment, because we are using command now, you get a free version and you get a professional version. So we have access, the professional version of Canva can do wonderful things. Okay. So guys, that's what we need in terms of tools. So let's look at, I'm going to use fishing as an analogy, for being an estate agent. So is your clickbait attractive enough? And I'm going to show you a couple of horrible pictures later that will shock you what agents are putting on the internet these days. And I'm going to show you how it actually should look like. So if you want to catch a fish, you have to throw in the correct bait. Am I right? If you don't have tasty bait, or you don't even throw your hook into the water, you've got no chance of catching a fish. So we're going to use the fishing analogy as an example. So I want you to look at, I'm going to show you a couple of pictures, and I want you to write down, I'm going to show you 5 or 6 pictures, write down the first word that comes to mind when you look at this picture. Write it down. Just one word. Caption. And the point that I'm trying to make here is why a picture is worth 1,000 words. That's the point that I'm trying to make. You can write 6 pages of copy. Yeah, this house has got this, and it's got open and granite, blah, blah, blah. Picture. One beautiful picture is worth 1,000 words. Right, next one. 5 seconds. Write down one word that describes this picture. Next one. One word. One word. Last picture. That's fine. Sit on song where the recording it. And another one. Can you see what I'm saying? A picture is worth 1,000 words. So let's just go back a little bit. Let's cycle through these pictures quickly, and then I'm going to ask you your... So I want you to monitor your emotions as we go through. Can you feel the emotion? Okay. So let's start, let's go back. Fani, what is your first picture? What is your caption?
I get to say Cubo.
Cubo.
Say weer?
Cubo. Wie heeft die movie gesnit? En het alles.
Okay, let's see. Tia, wat het jy gedaan op hierdie foto?
Powerful.
Powerful. Maar dan nou?
As ek na daai foto kyk, dan maak ek my baie bang.
Jolene?
Star, ek sê star. Ek was eintlik seker nie die Moses.
Scared.
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 No.
Okay. Can you see one picture, 2, 4, 5 different views? A picture is worth 1,000 words. What I see is a very attractive lady, beautiful eyes. She's trying to hide something. She seems like it took a bit of damage there on her face. You know, she suffered a little bit. So, but one picture is telling all of this. Okay. So if the point I'm trying to make is if you've got a powerful picture of your property, the person will click, you will get the inquiry, you will make the sale. Okay. Next one. Yeah.
Emotion.
Sad. This is actually an orphan. Yeah. Okay. Peter?
Yeah,
Circle of life. We all started in this one and we end up in the other one. Circle of life. Compassion. Victory. Success. Love. True love. Titanic liefde.
Cute.
Yeah, cute. Adorable. Puppy. Okay. You get my point. A picture is worth 1,000 words. I cannot stress that enough. That is what this whole course is about. Now, let's look at the good, the bad, and the ugly. Now, these are actual listings that I made a screenshot from on the internet. Look at that picture. The house is on the market for 3.75 million rand. I would be ashamed to put my name next to that listing. We cannot do that. Look at this picture. Why would you publish a picture like this on the internet? That looks more like an aquarium than a swimming pool, you know? Yesterday I went with Yorette to do another listing, and the swimming pool, it's a beautiful pool, but it's green. I cannot take a picture of that. So if you clean it up, I'll come take another picture. But do not put a picture on the internet that you are not 100% happy with. Rather leave it out. Rather put 10 perfect pictures than 50 mediocre pictures on the internet. Now, these are actual Keller Williams profile pics. In other words, on our KW system, that is the first picture that the client sees. A toilet for a profile picture. Now, that is my question. If you look at that, is your clickbait tasty enough? Is the person going to click on that toilet picture to look further? He's not even going to click there. So what is your chance of getting an inquiry, and what is your chance of making a sale if you have a picture like that? Less than zero. Okay. This is how a profile picture should look like. You agree with that?
Yeah.
Now look at this. This is also actual Keller Williams, the toilet. And the other one, I wouldn't say the other one is too bad, you know, the building from the outside. But, Jesus, guys, you know, we need to really bump up our game. Look at this. This is what we are competing against. 45,000 registered property practitioners out there. You've got a toilet on your profile pic, and this one, who's going to make the sale? Right, so that wraps up the first one, and now we're going to look at your actual camera settings. Now, like I mentioned, this camera of yours are extremely sophisticated, but there are a couple of settings that you can just fine-tune, and I don't want you to start fiddling with your phone now. Once we are done, I'll be here and just help you with your settings quickly. But first of all, I would put on activate scene optimizer, shot suggestions, and I'll send this to you in a PDF format. You can even look at the other thing that's extremely important. Let me see if I can get, yeah, is the 16:9. I want you to make a note of that. Your dimensions of your picture should be 16:9. You get full screen and you get square and you get all sorts of whatever, but we'll fine tune that for you. Very important is auto HDR. What does HDR stand for?
High definition.
High definition resolution. Tracking autofocus, grid lines. Now, what do I mean by grid lines? There's an excellent example. It's just a setting that you need to turn on. Once you do that, you can frame your shot. Now, where this little cross is in the middle, that's actually where the center of your picture should be. So we'll get to framing and composition, but if your grid lines are not on, you're going to struggle with, your pictures are going to be skewed. One of the other things that I saw the agents did the other day, they tried to put too much into a picture. If you come into a bedroom, don't try to cram everything into the picture. Take the bed and the headboard and capture that. Take the bathroom, capture that. Don't try to do everything. So that brings us to our next step. Step number 3 is framing and composition. Now, look at this. If you basically activate your camera, what I want you to do is take your eye and run your eye along the top, sides, bottom, so that you can see. That's called framing your shot. You moet hom frame. Maak dit sin? The second step is to look at your grid lines to see that everything is nice and perfect. And in this shot, you can see that the photographer went for symmetry. Alles is mooi symmetries. You can see the poles, the lighthouse is smack bang in the middle. I like symmetry. I'm a guy for symmetry. Ek is freak for that. This is another one that you can do where it's called the rule of 1/3. So you move the lighthouse a little bit to the side, but look at what he got in. He's got the green grass, he's got the sea, he's got the horizon and the lighthouse. Perfect framed and composition shot. So this is extremely important. You need to know what you want to capture in each shot. Don't just run in there and start snapping off happy snaps like a crazy person. Decide what you want to capture. Your pictures must tell a story. Okay. So look at this one. You can see where those grid lines meet, those little red circles there. That's very important. I would have lifted, in my opinion, I would have lifted a little bit his face. That cross, I would have put it right on his eyes, because your eyes are always, when you're doing portrait, your eyes are always your focus point. Always, always. Okay. But be it as it may, I think it's just to show you, frame your shot. Let's look at a couple of successful and not so successful photos. This one is not being framed correctly. Look at the difference now. Can you see where the horizon and the sea is and versus this shot? You put that line right on the horizon and you've got a beautiful picture. Step number 4, marketing. You can have the best pictures in the world, but if you do not know how to market, you will not make money in this industry. So I'm going to cover this very briefly, but I want to stress the importance. I know most of you already started with Facebook marketing and social media marketing. We will have a total separate workshop just on social media marketing and other stuff. So the power of social media, throw the bait far and wide. It's free. Social media is 100% free. If you know how to use Facebook and you do not make 50,000 Rand a month, then I don't want to have my name. You can make anything between 50,000 and 150,000 Rand per month if you know what you are doing on social media. You can ask Jolene and Fani and Juret. I've started flooding them with leads. I cannot keep up with.
Let me say something. When I met Gustav, I found out there was a marketplace on Facebook. So I listed hydraulic crimper. That's why I'm late. I sold it. The people were, they on Facebook the whole time. I just sold it now. So,
What did you put on Facebook?
a crimper, hydraulic crimper. Maar met Gustav, as hy het 'n ding en ek het doen, gaan stik dit op
Yeah,
maar.
Facebook is amazing.
Net knoppies gedruk en ek het nou net die crimper verkoop.
Facebook Marketplace is 100% free. It's on your phone. Now, the average person picks up their mobile device 200 times a day.
Yeah.
200 times
It's
a
like an
day.
extension of yourself.
So, guys, I'm not going to go into stats now, but you have to use social media. Step number 4, marketing and advertising promotion. People buy from people they know, like, and trust. If they don't know you, they're not going to buy from you. If they don't know Keller Williams, they are not going to buy from you. If they don't trust you, if they don't like you, sorry, I've got some bad news for you. So, that is why we use social media to connect with our audience. Like I said, I'm flooded every day. And you start with your sphere of influence. I have 5,000 connections on my Facebook. But all in all, between LinkedIn and Facebook, I've got 100,000 connections. And I reach more than 100,000 people every month. And that's where it comes from. You can have the listing. Jolene and I now have the listings, but we don't have the buyers at the moment. So now we need to step up our game in the marketing department to get the buyers. Having the listing is one thing, that's the most difficult. Now we have to find a buyer, then we make money. So this is extremely important, guys. We're going to spend a lot of time here. Even if we have to come here on a Saturday and sit here for 4 hours, we will build everything that you need. I'll show you everything that you need to know. But this is important. This is just an example of one of the pictures that I posted on Google. 40,000 views. 40,000.
How do you post the picture?
I'll show you. 40,000 views. This one, 91,000 views.
I even did that.
91,000. So, just imagine you are the listing agent. I'm going to see Tia. Tia wants to sell a property. I said, listen, Tia, I pull out my sales file. Let me tell you who I am, Keller Williams. Let me show you my result. I'm going to sell your house. That's the first thing I tell a person. I'm going to sell your house, Tia. Okay. Put it out there. I'm going to sell your house. En ons wil nou mos die sole exclusive agreement ook mos neem, né? And then you start with your value proposition. Tia, look at this. You bring me another agent that can give your property the exposure that I can, and I'll eat my hat. I'm going to sell your property. Okay, so now you take it through the value proposition, and the paperwork is up there. The sole and exclusive agreement is lying there that you need to get signed. All right. So that's just to give you an idea what you can achieve on social media. The people asked me, did you sell and rent it? I said, silly question. Of course I did. Right. What is the 5 P's of marketing? It's your product, place, price, promotion, people. Those are the 5 P's. If you study marketing 101, the first day the professor will tell you is the 5 P's of marketing. So what is your product? What is our product?
House.
Yeah, property. That's our product. We have to know our product. It has to be a nice product, a sellable product. We want to be proud of what we bring to the market. Place is, where is it located? Where are we going to pitch it in the market? Is it an investment property? Are we going to pitch it to property investors? Or are we going to sell it to a young couple? So you need to know where your product fits into the market. Price is crucial. I promise you, if you list a property today in the current market and you don't sell it within 2 weeks, if you don't have a signed OTP within 2 weeks, your price is not right. That's what I told Jolene this morning. Jolene, we need to look at the prices. a listing gets stale. If we list it now and it's still on the market 6 months from now, the listing becomes stale. You have to take it off the market, polish it, rebrand, and launch it again. And don't wait too long. Go back. That's why I told that other seller, price is not right. The moment we lowered that price in Kempton Park, we were flooded with inquiries. Okay. And that is where your CMA comes in. Yesterday we covered the 10 steps that you need to do. You need to be an expert on how to do a comparative market analysis. You need to hit the nail on the head there. If you are out there and you list a property that's too expensive, you're going to waste your time.
So CMA stands for
comparative market analysis. The next thing is promotion, advertising, call it what you like. You can be a brilliant listing agent, but if you cannot promote and put your listing out there, you're dead in the water. You cannot do what the rest of the 45,000 agents are doing out there, then you're going to be mediocre. You need to bump it up to the next level. Facebook, you need to be a Facebook freak. Instagram, Google, we need to be everywhere. Somebody opens their Facebook, they must say Gustav is selling another property. That's my aim. And people, obviously, your buyers, your sellers, your network. There's a saying, your network determines your net worth. And I've realized that a lot. I can pick up the phone. I've got thousands of contacts and friends. And your network. Don't have 5 friends and 5 people on Facebook and think you're going to make it. At least 5,000. That's the maximum that you can have on Facebook. Then they stop you. However, your business page does not have any limits. Your business page can have 1 million followers. And I'll show you how to get it and to build your audience going forward. So my question to you is, how many lines do you have in the water? So Jolene listed this property. She pressed the button there at my edge, and now it's live. It feeds through to P24 and private property, where all 45,000 agents are advertising. So you are one of 10 million listings out there. How are people going to find your listing? So that's why I'm saying you have to go the extra mile. So it's Keller Williams' website. It feeds through P24 private property. You have to have your own Facebook business page. There needs to be, I've got 6,000 followers on my Facebook page. I've got, in fact, I've got 20 pages. And I've got 20 groups, that's mine. So why do I have my own pages? It's like 20 different websites that I have for free. Doesn't cost me a cent. So the one will be properties for sale in Ilardus Park. That's my one website. Properties for sale in Centurion. I'll show you all my pages. People like a theme, because the Centurion people will now join that. All the buyers and the sellers will join and like that page. So the difference between a page and a group is, a page is like your website. It's your website. A group is where you create a small community on Facebook. So let's call it Ilardus Park properties for sale and to rent. Just as an example, okay? Now you start inviting people, and people will find that group. All the people that stays in Ilardus Park will most probably see, okay, but I want to, I'm looking for a property. I've got a group in Centurion. It's so busy, but now I control what is going onto that group. If you try to post your listings now to other groups where you are not the admin, you are not in control, most probably they're going to decline your post. So when some other agent wants to list it on mine, then I just decline it because I don't want competition there. But I want the owner that wants to sell his house to publish it on my group. Why do I want that?
Lead listing, new lead.
Then I make contact with them. Hello, sir, I'm the admin of Centurion Properties for Sale. I see that you posted, can I help you? I'm from Keller Williams. we're the best in the West, can we list your property? It's generate leads for you, and buyers, and sellers, and whatever. So this is a bit of an art. Like I said, we cannot cover this. I see Fani is frowning like crazy there. We are not going to crack this for you in half an hour. That is a day or two that we're going to spend, but we're going to do it on practice. We're going to sit here and build it and launch it. All right. Any questions? Okay. So let's go to Facebook business page, Facebook groups, Instagram. You have to have your own YouTube channel. I built a YouTube channel in under 30 seconds. Chop, for free.
I tried, but I don't know how it works yet. So you need to have a 3 or 4 hour session.
I'll show you. YouTube is the second biggest search engine in the world. Google is the first. So if you're not on YouTube, you're invisible. It's for free, guys. It's a free resource. You build the page in less than 30 seconds. You upload your videos there, and Bob's your uncle. Now you can use, instead of sending that huge video to the client, you just copy the link, you send it to him, and he can watch it on Wi-Fi. You can have your own Google page. That's also a workshop on its own. Google will give you a free Google page. Let's say Fani's Properties. It'll give you a free website. You just need to go and upload your listing. We have them on Keller Williams and we have them on there, but we are going next level here. Where is Google going to look for properties? Where are they going to start? Are they going to start on the Keller Williams website? If somebody types in, I want to buy a property, or are they going to start with their own website? They're going to start with the Google website. Google controls all the search engines. There are thousands of search engines out there. Thousands. Tens of thousands. Google is the biggest and the most known. So Google will first go and look on their own page and present the results to the person that's looking for something. So if you're not there, you're invisible. And then TikTok, I like TikTok. It's more for the younger generation, but it's a very powerful tool. All right. Let's look at a couple of practical tips and tricks. The other day I went out with an agent and I said, okay, let's do this listing. She was like running. I said, no, stop, what are you doing? She says, no, I'm taking pictures. I know. First thing is you need to turn your camera that. So the format, if you take a picture like that, if you hold your phone like that, it's easy to remember. It's going to be a long, skinny picture. We cannot use this on websites. This will work on TikTok. This will work on, it doesn't work on YouTube. That format will work on Facebook as well. You can have a nice picture in that size because this is the size of your screen. But square also not, this is more Instagram. Instagram is more square. But this 19 by 6 should be your dimensions. It works on all the platforms, all the websites, 19 by 6. We'll set up that settings after this session. So I get a lot of agents, they send me a picture in this format, these long skinny pictures. What must I do with that? It's like I cannot use it, So just turn your camera and do it right. Okay. The other thing that I'll show you now is you should always hold your camera. When I started doing photography, I was running around like this all the time. You should not do that. You should hold your camera with both hands like that, grid lines, and then now I can say capture. Smile. There we go, we took the picture now. So you can activate your voice command so that you can focus on composing your shot and framing your shot, capture. It's much better than that because you cannot take a proper picture with one hand. So those are settings that we can activate just after the session. I'll show you how to do that. It works like a charm. People think you're crazy running around the house and say, smile, smile, but it works, trust me. So voice commands, very important. When you go out, I see a lot of agents, remember, this is your lens. You just make sure that you clean your lens before you start taking pictures, because sometimes makeup or whatever, there's a smudge on the lens. You spend 2 hours taking photos, and when you get home, oh my goodness, problem. So it must be part of your checklist. Before I start, just make sure your lens is clean. And another tip that I do is before I start with photos or videos, I also put my phone on flight mode. Because halfway through the video, bling, bling, and then the whole video is ruined. Then you have to start all over again. So a couple of practical tricks that I've learned over time. We will cover videography in another session like this. I can't combine the two. It's too much for one session. But videography is extremely important as well. Just to get back to the profile pics, if we compare these are actual Keller Williams listings. Which one will you click on?
They go back and forward, I'll click on the right one.
Yeah. So, you see, that's what I'm saying. What is your goal? What do you want to achieve? You want to put your property out there. You want the person to click on your listing, and you want to get them through the front door. Once you get them in the house, the magic happens automatically. If it's not the right house for the person, he's not going to buy it. But the more realistic your pictures are and your videos, it will give the buyer a good idea, because you don't want to waste your time. Right? Time is money. Do you agree? Time is money. We cannot run around with people that, it's not a good fit. Get them through the front door. That is your goal, is to make sure that your first picture must be beautiful. It must knock your socks off. Then the next 4 pictures as well needs to be your best pictures. You can move the pictures around. You can just drag them in a different order. The first 5, and I always say your last picture as well, because now you can't remember what was the first one. When you're in, also a beautiful picture with a swimming pool. Don't end with the toilet, please.
Don't end with the foyer.
Don't end with the toilet. Don't end with the toilet, please. Because that's the only thing that is going to remember is the toilet. Okay. So once you've hooked it, like I said, I get so many inquiries per day. We put it into the CRM system. We start pre-qualifying the client. Then we do the viewings, start do the paperwork. I've got the 10 steps there. We can go through that quickly. Just to get back to editing is extremely important. I think we might have a couple of minutes that we can just spend on that. Editing is extremely important. So I use Office 365. It comes with all the suite of software programs. Photos, I use that one. Works like a charm. And that is the end of the presentation. I just want to stop it over here, and then I'm going to take some questions. We're going to see. Ek sê ligte nie daar aan, so dan kan ek ook.
Ja, gerust.